Good evening, folks of Camp Raven Knob. We are happy to have you here tonight with us as we go over webinar number 3 here on what we got Monday, April 6th, starting at 6:30. Thanks for everybody for a little bit of the time change there. We just had a couple of things, little hoops we had to jump through to make tonight work. So glad we were able to, and appreciate everybody being here. So last time we were here, we were stressing about session registration and getting 40 kids into ATV spots and all that good stuff. And so hopefully we've got a lot of that behind us and we can focus on, getting to camp, getting settled in, what to expect, what do we need to prepare for the document wise, what about prerequisites, all that kind of stuff. And so we're going to walk you through a bunch of that tonight. As we go into the next webinar coming up in May, 1st of May there. I think it's the 4th. There's a couple of really key things that we will go over on that webinar, including the use of the Raven Knob app, the Passport app, which is a great addition to what we offer at Camp Raven Knob, and being able to find what kids your sessions are supposed to be and all that good stuff. So we'll get you set up on that and making sure that we've got our arrival times checked in. When you get to camp, we've got a troop guide that's going to meet you, all that good stuff. So it's a very important webinar. And then once we get to June, that'll just kind of be a catch-up webinar. And typically in the past, we kind of record that just because we're getting into the swing of things at camp and life just gets really busy, and record that. If there's anything really important, we go over and try to make it as quick as we can. So tonight's webinar, we're hoping to have wrapped up in an hour. Hopefully we will do that if I quit talking, but we're 68 days, 18 hours and 27 minutes away. So I hope you guys are getting pumped. That's our countdown till week 1. And then of course, every week past that, just add a couple more days to it and we'll be moving right on. So tonight I've got with me our crew, Ash Stimke, our assistant camp director, Wesley Warden, our other assistant camp director, and Sam Selichek, our program director, coming to you live from all sorts of places. And Wesley as far as right down the hall. So thanks for being here. If you haven't already, go ahead and put in the chat what troop you're from, where you guys are from. That way it just kind of gives us an idea of who all's here with us. And if you haven't in the past, go ahead and hit subscribe. That way if you're cooking up a little dinner this time of evening and you forget what time it is, you might get a notification on your phone that says, hey, this webinar started. So check that out and that will help you along the way. First thing we're going to do is we're going to dive into talking about Tenaroo just a little bit on this end of things, of what happens now and how we can make changes and a couple other little key details that'll help you as you get closer to camp. So I'm going to take some folks off here and we're going to rock and roll. There we go. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to get into Tenaroo here. Once you log in, hopefully this is what you're seeing. To answer this question, yes, all of our webinars are archived directly back to the same link that you joined on. So you can find them at any point in time. So what I want to show you really quick is just a refresher on if you have a scout that needs, to change their sessions, or you need to remove somebody, whatever it may be, this will help you a little bit be able to do that on your own. So what you want to do is just click on your box here, go into your event. And so we're going to check on our friend Bug Checkers here, who's a youth. Let's just say this kid now can't come to camp. Hit manage registration, cancel registration, and then you'll hit confirm and cancel. However, what you will not be able to do is reduce the amount of people that you have in your overall unit count that you will see right here. Okay. At this point, we are the only folks that can reduce these numbers. Okay. The reason for that is that if you went in there and paid a deposit for 20 kids and you wind up bringing 10, that's something that, we need to understand, and we need to know that, we've got a big change on our hands, and we got to, pay attention to those types of things, because that's a relatively big change for the overall course of the summer. But, one kid here and there, again, it just kind of helps us keep an eye on things and know where our numbers at as we get closer. So we are fully in the mode of doing a lot of purchasing for the summer of, climbing gear or ammo and, handicraft stuff. And so knowing where our numbers are is very important today, and being able to project what we need later on. Now, of course, continue to add scouts. If you have crossovers that haven't taken place yet, you've got scouts that haven't made up their mind. If you've got a way to get them to camp, feel free to bring them. Don't call and ask, hey, can we bring 2 more kids? The answer is yes, absolutely. Bring your kids. Getting any kid to camp is a goal of ours. If you can get them there, we'll make sure that they have a good time. So don't ever question that. But we do know that folks are limited on train seats, plane seats, car seats, whatever it may be. So if you can get them to camp, we'll take care of them from there. And if you can't, you need a little help getting them there, you call us. Maybe we'll help you with that too. So to change a session again, you're going to click on the kid's name, hit the manage registration button, and then edit. And then at the bottom that you can't see, you'll hit the next buttons. And then from here, you can remove a certain session right in here. Just hit remove, and then available sessions will then begin to pop back up. All right. Same process before, just walk through it, hit checkout, and you're all done with making those changes. I would encourage you as you make these changes, it's never good to leave stuff sitting in your cart. So continuously always check out, just because you never know when another troop of 20 kids needs to go sign up, and you've swapped this kid into metalwork and you got the last spot, but this troop just started signing up their kids and that last spot disappears. So always continue to check out on what you're doing. One of the things I also want to show you that we have not discussed is talking about unit photos and deposits for next year. All right. So what you want to do here is click on a leader's name or kid's name, and you can go in here and you can add a few more things other than sessions just for adults. As we've talked about, Red Cross or Level 1, some of the programs that we offer for adults, you can go ahead and add those in. However, there are a couple other just kind of more administrative things that you're able to add. If you're a troop that regularly attends Raven Knob, or you know that you're going to attend in 2027 already at this point, we highly recommend that you go ahead and add this 2026, or sorry, it should say 2027. Max, can you help me out with that and flip that over? So it'll say 2026, but it will say 2027 here shortly. Unit deposit. All right. It's down here at the very bottom. You won't see a lot of these things. I hope you don't see the damaged equipment fee, but you can add this CRK unit deposit. That will go ahead and lock you in. Same campsite next year, same time. All right. What you can also do is during your camp check-in tour, you'll go through unit photos. Should your unit want photos, this is the place where you can stop and have a nice photo taken of your unit, typically at our OA arena. And so we charge $10 for each photo. These are printed 8x10s that will come in before the week's over, and you'll be able to hand those out, hang them in your scout hut, whatever it may be. They're very nice photos, high quality. It'll say, Raven Knob Summer Camp 2027. It'll have like the Raven on it. It'll have the camp patch for the year on it. So not a bad thing to have, but you're welcome to get those. A lot of troops will come in and they'll get a unit photo for every kid. Some of them just do one for the troop, whatever it may be, but you can add those here. So if you end up getting one for every kid, you can go through each person and add this in, or you can shoot us a text or an email and just say, hey, we actually need 10 unit photos. They're added to Nate Todd's name. Can you go in there and just add those? And yeah, we can make that 10 photos and hit save, and it's done. All right. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit. All right. The last thing that I do want to show you, and I think I kind of went over this last time, was using this reports tab. This reports tab will help you really a lot this time of year and when summer camp has ended. So hit that reports tab. You can pull an invoice. All right. Everybody needs a good invoice saying, hey, where'd that money go, or whatever it may be. This is a good tool just to be able to have to help your treasurer or whatnot. You can see your payments here and all that good stuff. Okay. Other reports that we have, participant rosters, class schedules. It can break it down by person. It's got Excel, all that good stuff. At the end of camp, you can pull a requirements completed Excel or PDF. All right. Or you can print your blue cards right off of Tenaroo. Okay. So that's something to look for. You can pull this Scout Book one as well. Take this file, drop it right in Scout Book, and it syncs up. Now, one thing that we found out just a few weeks ago that's kind of ground shattering in a way, but still working on other opportunities and what this may look like, is that Tenaroo has decided that they are going to dissolve as an organization and leaving us kind of homeless in the terms of what registration will look like going forward and trying to figure out what that should be. So we're in the process now of reviewing vendors and looking at folks and trying to figure out if there's a will, if there's a way. Do we want to build our own? Do we want to continue to work with another service? So we'll keep that in mind. We know there's some great opportunities out there, but Tenaroo has worked really well for us personally, but may not work as well for you or for another camp. But so if you're a unit that's been coming to Raven Knob for a long time, one of the things I would highly recommend before October is to go through here and pull your requirements completed documents and just have a PDF of those on hand. So we will have one of those files as well, but it'll be very easy for you all to have. So yeah, Tenaroo will end in October. And so we'll send out reminders and things of that nature to be able to go out and say, hey, this is how you pull these reports if you need them. Just that way you've got them. But if you've attended in the past or every other year or every 5 years and you've used Tenaroo, I promise it's a benefit to have those documents. So just go in and pull those when you get time. All right. So these things are great, being able to pull these. So you can kind of see here. Here's the schedules. It gives you a breakdown per kid of what it looks like. All right. So at any point in time, you can check it. All right. So I think I am done talking for a little while. At this point, I'm going to pass the ball over to Ash Stemke here. I'm going to bring him back on the screen. I'm going to remove myself, and I'm going to add Ash on here. All right, Ash, take it away.
All right. Thanks, Hunter. I'm going to talk a little bit about provisional scouts on our Raven Repeat program, some opportunities for scouts to come to camp on their own if they're not able to attend with their troop, or if they want to go for a second week. Right here under our registration tab, if you go to this provisional scouts and day campers page, this has all the information that you need. It talks about scouts who want to attend summer camp without the troop. So provisional scouts is mostly what we're talking about here, this idea of maybe you have a scout that wants to come to camp with your troop, but they can't attend the week that you're going. And so we do have an opportunity for them to still come to Raven Knob during a different week. During that week, we would place them with an existing unit at camp. They'd be under the care of that leadership and our camp staff, and participate in fully all the activities at camp throughout the week. Another reason that scouts often choose to come for a second week is if for example, they want to do an extra program. So maybe they need to do merit badges 1 week, and then they decide they're going to go do the ATV program or get lifeguard certified or something one of those other weeks, or some other high adventure activity. So this is both for scouts who need to come a different week from their troop, and also ones who want to come for multiple weeks. If any scouts in your unit do want to come for multiple weeks, we do have a discount on that called the Raven Repeat discount. Which basically means our base fee for the summer is a bit more than this, but they get a discounted rate for coming for a second week. So any scouts that sign up for a second week of camp will have a discount and be able to attend for $315 as a base price. And to fill this out, whether that's for a Raven Repeat or just a general provisional scout, you fill out this form right here, which explains some basic information about the scout, and you can see here the other things here. It talks about which week they're planning to come, which classes they're planning to take. For this, for provisional registration, you do go ahead and pay up front. That's how this Tenaroo form works right here. And once that's done, we will go in and get those class registrations done for you and make sure that we can get your scout registered for where they need to be. And we'll, of course, contact you and work with you if there's any things that need to be altered or changed there. We're pretty flexible with this. We have provisional scouts in camp all 6 weeks of camp, and several units that are regularly willing to kind of be a host family, if you will, for any provisionals that come and join us. So we hope you will encourage your scouts to take advantage of our both Raven Repeat and just general provisional programs for those who can't attend with your unit or those who are planning to come other weeks. I think that's about it for me, at least.
It is. Can you leave your screen shared so you can help guide Sam?
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. All right. Sam Sedlacek. Let's talk about some prereqs and all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah, our prerequisites for the summer. So, yeah, so let's talk about where to find these prerequisites. So we can go to the program tab, and it's listed under sessions. So the sessions list / prerequisites. And so right there, it lists out everything, all of our merit badges and whether they have a prerequisite attached to them. So everything from advanced metal work to weather merit badge, anything that has a prerequisite attached to it, it's going to be listed on there. And so these are not always like you have to get these things done before you get up to camp, but these are strongly recommended things that you want to get done beforehand. So like for archery, it's be able to draw a 22-pound bow 10 times consecutively. Now you don't have to go out in the yard and just draw a bow 10 times in a row just to make sure it works. Just know that that you're probably going to be doing that throughout the week, and you got to be able to do that. And then if we look at the ATV experience, we actually see 2 highlighted courses, and those are the 2 required courses that you need to get done before you get up to camp. We require these to get done before you actually get on the machines and get ready for sessions, but we recommend that you kind of get it done before you get up to camp because Wi-Fi is a little spotty and you don't want to be stressing on Sunday night being like, oh no, I can't get this done, I got to get this in.
Hey Sam, real quick, one thing on the ATV training that you have to take, the e-course. If at any point it prompts you to want to pay money or anything like that, that is not needed. So it does not require you to have to pay to take this online certification. There's certain states that charge a little bit of money, this and that, but if you get through it and you get, oh, I'm charging me money, reach out and we'll help you through that process. It gets a little weird, but all you got to do is take that course, get the certification, print it out, and bring it with you. So that way we've got it. All right.
And I think other than that, it's just how to submit prerequisites. So if you go back to the top of this tab, right there in that big red button, it says submit prerequisites. It's easy as that. So you can submit these before you get up to camp, or if you want to submit them after, if you don't want to deal with that and submit it after you get to camp, we can take them up at admin. That works just as well. But it's a little bit easier for y'all if you can just go ahead and submit it there, and then it's just marked in our sheets and marked in Tenaroo and ready to roll.
For sure. And what we have is a spreadsheet. Ash, do you want to click on that really quick? Perfect. So you have to make a copy. All right. So it'll let you. All right. Perfect. So it's going to give you this prerequisite form. We created this just to kind of help you out, especially those of you that love spreadsheets or just administratively gifted, whatever it may be. You can go down through there, type in the scout's name, type what class it is, and then fill out those requirements. And this hopefully will help you a little bit of keeping up with those and keeping track of them, and then being able to submit those directly on the website. So once those come in, what our admin staff is going to do during the week you're at camp is they're going to go through Tenaroo and start adding those in. And if you're wanting to see, hey, did those get added in? Sometime on Friday, you can actually go into Tenaroo, pull a requirements completed report, and see a lot of the requirements that have already been added in. So you can just kind of spot check here or there, did those get added? But it definitely helps us to have these submitted, all right, before Friday. So Friday is a very hectic day as we process paperwork for the week and try to get these advancement reports out the door by campfire Friday evening. And so having this document submitted or prerequisite submitted to our office before Friday makes everybody's life a lot easier. So help us out with that. Before you get to camp, you want to go ahead and submit them by all means, but they won't be added to Tenaroo until the week you are at camp.
So like Sam mentioned, you can bring it to us at camp, or you can actually just upload it right here on this page by typing your unit council week camp, and then you just upload a copy of that file, like an Excel file or whatever from that spreadsheet, and we'll get it from there. That form will show up for us.
Yeah.
One more thing to mention on the previous page as well with the actual prerequisite list is that, like Sam was saying, the requirements on this list are things that we don't complete at camp, but not all of them are necessarily things to do beforehand. It's kind of a little bit of both. So in the case of things like sailing, where you have to pass the swim test or the bow draw, things like lifeguard have an actual age requirement. With many of these things that have merit badge requirements listed there, that's hey, we can't complete this at summer camp for one reason or another, so you'll need to do this outside of camp. Whether that's before or after is kind of up to the scout in the cases of some requirements like that.
Right. And I will mention that we did have a couple of folks that kind of went through and spot checked us a little bit on our requirements, and we went through those about 2 weeks ago and just tried to make sure everything was up to date the best we could. We had our staff training back, I guess about 3 weeks ago now, and our areas went through these to make sure that they were corrected. I will say that many of the requirements, a bunch of them did change just because National made updates. I think it was like close to like 70 merit badges or 80 merit badges, just
It was a lot.
changing the numbers around, or a lot of them added that career aspect, learn about 3 careers or something to those things. So I do want to answer this question for camping merit badge. Some of those requirements are okay not to complete before camp. Absolutely. A prerequisite, the purpose of a prerequisite is just to go home with a completion. You get these done, and when you leave camp, you're checked off, you're ready to roll. So you don't have to have them done by the time that you leave camp. It's perfectly okay to not do any prerequisites before you get there and follow up on those as you go home.
Yeah, really the only exceptions to that are like age requirements, such as for lifeguard or these safety courses for ATV. Like those are things you have to do. You must do those before you get to camp. Whereas a merit badge requirement, that's kind of up to the scout and their leadership on what to do about that.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Sam. Ash, if you'll keep that up, I want to answer this question real quick. Is there a live count for session availability, seats and merit badges? And the answer to that is absolutely. Hit the, that one right there. Scouts BSA tab, you're going to scroll down, and then there is a session availability button right there. You click on that, click on your week, let's say week 3, and what it will do is pull up those sessions and their available seats at this moment live. So
9 a.m. camping merit badge has 7 seats left. You can see 9 a.m. swimming only has 1 seat remaining. But it looks like most things are pretty open in this case.
So just take a look at that. That definitely helps. Of course, it doesn't it's live updating. It may take like 30 seconds, a minute. Sometimes you may need to refresh, but it's nothing too wild that you, and at this point, it shouldn't be going lightning fast as it did back in March.
Yes, plenty of spots in Cripple Creek and Rampage.
That's right. That's right. All right, Ash, do you want to talk about some required documents, your favorite subject?
My favorite subject,
Absolutely.
Of course. Let me close out of a couple of these other things here. So getting us back to our main homepage on the website. You all, if you've been on any of these webinars in the past, probably heard me talk about this before, so I'll be brief a little bit today. But just a reminder of some of the documents that you need to have as far as attending camp goes, both for your individual scouts and for your unit. A list of those is available on this page under the Leader's Guide and Forms. The main things that are important to make sure that everybody has are listed right here. Every youth participant needs to have the annual health and medical record. That's pretty standard for most scouting events. Adult participants also have to have that as well. In both of those cases, it does require Part C, which is the part where they have to get an actual physical exam from a medical professional. For the youth participants, we also require this outdoor parental release form. This form looks like this. I'll zoom in on a little bit on it here for you. But it basically talks about some of the types of activities that happen at summer camp. This is relatively quick form that requires a parent signature, parent guardian signature, that's related to certain North Carolina state regulations. As far as the other things on this list, those are just our general guides for the summer and the map and things like that. So there's that parental release form. That needs to be attached to the health form for each youth. So we would ask that you don't send us a stack of health forms and a stack of parental releases, but instead just go ahead and staple that parental release form to each individual scout's health form. From there, a couple other things to mention. So here we have a supplemental medical form. This is, as it says here, not required, but highly encouraged. I'd recommend this form if you have any scouts or leaders in your unit with special needs or like unusual allergies or particular medications that require certain care or storage or whatever. So this is an optional form, but if there's particular medicines, foods, allergies, or other things that we may know as far as that we need to know about or maybe can help you with, that's kind of what that's for any staff or any scouts or leaders that have any sort of medical needs beyond sort of typical things. A couple things for your entire unit that are worth noting. There's kind of 2 of these. I'll talk about the special diet form and the swim classification form. The special diet form, we only ask for 1 of these if your troop requires it. But this is where you let us know as far as our dining operations about anyone in your unit that has dietary restrictions, food allergies, things like that. And it's quite simple. You fill out the person's name and what their dietary needs are. And of course, you can just email us this form. You can actually click submit right there to do it. You can email this to us, or you can, and we really do need it in advance, because if you show up the day of, we won't have ordered the food yet. So really June 1st or by a week or two before you come to camp is when we need that, so we can get our food orders in. As far as what types of dietary aids we have for standard food allergies and sort of typical diets such as vegetarianism, kosher diets, gluten-free and dairy-free, things like that, and allergies to common things like eggs or whatever it might be. We regularly serve people with those types of needs. So don't be afraid to write those things on there. If you have any sort of peculiar or unusual food allergy or something that's particularly severe or restrictive, go ahead and send us an email about that so we can kind of work with you about what might be the best way to make sure you stay fed over the course of the week while you're here. But this form, like I said, for anything like vegetarian, gluten-free, we can certainly handle that. We'd prefer to get this form back by June 1st. You can just email it to us. And that's just so we know as far as planning what food to order and things like that. One more form I'll mention over here is the swim classification form. This one is if your unit chooses to take swim tests prior to coming to camp. As far as what to do for that, we can kind of take a look at this on here. We'll zoom in a bit on this one. The scouting swim test is standardized all throughout scouting. It's exactly what's listed in the Guide to Safe Scouting, and it's sort of addressed even further in the Aquatics Supervision Manual. You used to have to buy that manual to reference it, but now it is a free available document that you can get off of National's website on the Outdoor Programs Aquatics page that goes into a lot of detail on how to administer the swim test appropriately, which is listed right here. We, of course, have the opportunity for any interested scouts or leaders to do the swim test upon arrival to camp, and typically that is part of the Sunday check-in process. However, if your unit chooses to do swim tests prior to coming to camp, we certainly allow you to do that. And here's the type of form that you can use to fill it out, where you write each person's name and what their swim classification is. As far as the sort of authorization and things like that for the form, I'll kind of zoom in a little bit on this. We're asking for who is authorizing the test. This needs to be someone who is trained in scouting aquatics and knows how to recognize and how to sort of administer the swim test appropriately, and kind of telling us what their name and certification date are there. Typically, this means someone who's trained in safe swim defense, aquatic supervision, swimming and water rescue, a BSA lifeguard, or a BSA aquatics instructor. Of course, BSA lifeguard as a program won't be valid after the end of this year, but some people do still have current cards with that. We often do also get a question about, can a Red Cross lifeguard administer a swim test? You're certainly welcome to have a Red Cross lifeguard present when the swim test is going on for safety purposes. However, Red Cross lifeguards are not trained in scouting swim tests. And so our preference really is that someone who has scouting credentials and has been taught about the scouting swim test and how to give it be the one that's at least signing off on saying, yes, this was done appropriately, check mark. If you have any questions about that, feel free to email us, and we can either answer them ourselves or put you in touch with our aquatic staff if necessary.
Thanks, Ash.
Yeah.
I think we had one question. It's a common one. So when do health forms actually expire? So this is a great question, because it is a little bit helpful for those of you that may be coming to camp before, that it's been 365 days from that last, insurance covered physical, whatever it may be. So the way this works, so let's say I got my physical done and the document was signed on June 1st, 2025. That document is valid until June 30th, 2026. So it's till the end of the month of what it was signed for. So there we go, Ash.
That's the date right there.
Yeah. So if it says that date, it is good until the end of June 2026. Same thing if it's in July. If it was signed July 4th, 2025, it is great until the end of July of 2026. So I know a lot of folks have those issues and that confusion, but hopefully that helps you a little bit, because it is not published very much on what that rule is, but that is the rule that you can follow. So hopefully that helps. All right. I think that was our only question with those wonderful required documents. So, and if you ever need any help with those or whatever it may be, let us know. The one thing I will mention while we're talking about required documents, is talking about an opportunity to have an express medical checks. So if you want to go ahead and send in your health forms to us, if you already have them collected, you can drop them in the mail and send them to us. What we do with those, we go ahead and get your buddy tags filled out ahead of time, go through and make sure that there's nothing too wild going on in terms of, any sort of allergies or medical issues that our Health Lodge staff needs to be aware of. And it just gives us a little bit of time to stay ahead of things. And so this is in the Leader's Guide under Express Health Check-In. And so what we require is those forms to be submitted at least 2 weeks prior to your arrival. What happens is our Health Lodge staff will get those, go through them, fill out the buddy tags, and that way it will save you a little bit of time in that check-in process. So we still have to do a medical check. According to the NCAP standards, every long-term camp that you participate in requires you to go through some sort of medical check. If you don't send these in early, it's a one-on-one process, or, where a staff member or leader sitting there with a kid and our Health Lodge staff, and they're going to ask a few questions. If you felt sick recently, hey, we noticed that you're allergic to, or you have asthma. Do you have your inhaler? You're allergic to bees. Do you have your EpiPen? Things of that nature. And when you have, 40, 50 kids, it does, slow things down quite a bit on your check-in process. So this will help speed things up. It'll get us through that process a lot quicker should you be able to get these in. We know that they're very hard to come through. So if you send us these, they need to be sent by USPS, UPS, FedEx. Do not email these to us to follow HIPAA guidelines. We cannot have these electronically. They can be faxed, but please don't fax them. There's 4 pages to every health form, and we really don't. We've had this happen in the past. It's just not a lot of fun for the fax machine or us to try to figure out what's going on. So just mail them to us. If you're going to mail them to us, shoot us an email, say, hey, our health forms are on the way. Here's a tracking number, whatever it may be, and we'll do the best we can. And if you don't hear from us, you see they're delivered, just give us a call, and we will we'll check on it or say, oh yeah, they're sitting right here. So whatever it may
be. We get deliveries at camp from all the major carriers every day. So that's a pretty regular thing. And those carriers know our route and kind of where to find us. So we don't typically have any issues with postal service stuff.
No, Amazon knows their way to the front gate and down to the admin building most days. So no problems getting mail to us. Ash, I do have one question here that you may be able to answer. I got right here. Even if BSA lifeguard cert has expired, can they still sign?
No, if it's expired, no.
Okay.
Now if they were a former BSA lifeguard and they're currently trained in safe zone defense or something like that, sure, we'd take that.
Yep.
And that training is, of course, doable online.
Absolutely. And then the next question is, for adults, what classes are required beyond YPT, which is now Safeguarding Youth Training? Nothing. That is the only course you really need to have, because everybody attending summer camp for our adults must be registered in the scouting program. All right. That is a key thing. And that is up to you as the unit leaders to make sure that everybody there is required. So please be able to keep that in check. This is a rule that came out, 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, that if you are coming on a scouting trip with a scout troop, everybody must be registered that's above the age 18 or older. And that includes making sure that your background check has cleared at that point. So if you're a week out and you're like, hey, we got a problem, this guy, we got to get this guy registered, we just realized that that background check does not clear, you need to give us a call so that way we can get on the phone with your council office or whatever it may be to help understand where that process is and all that good stuff. So everybody should be registered, so they should have active Safeguarding Youth Training completed. So we got some updating in the Leader's Guide to do on getting our correct things there.
Yes.
So does a scout need the swim test if they don't have any aquatics activities but might want to do free swim? The answer to that is yes or no. If the scout is not interested in getting out of the non-swimmers area, which is, I would say, a lovely place to be, it's a lot less busy than the swimmers area, then no, you do not need swim tests done. If the scout wants to get into the swimmers area, we need to have that swim test completed, and they do need to pass it. to be able to go in the swimmers area during that time.
Yep.
Or
you can absolutely still get in the water without a swim test. That's what the non-swimmers area is for. It has standing room water everywhere. We usually keep a volleyball net in it for water volleyball that anyone can play, which is quite fun. There are also opportunities during our open boating times for beginners and non-swimmers to take out boats with a buddy. So that's a possibility there as well, in just like open boating time. Although I will also say that all of the boating merit badges, so kayaking merit badge and sailing merit badge and all those, do require passing the swim test to participate in them.
For sure. Thanks, Ash. Here's another good question. Half week leaders, how many days are they in camp? We look at half week leaders, we look at leaders that are there from Sunday until Wednesday, about noonish, and then Wednesday through Saturday. That's what we look at a half week leader for. If they leave on like Tuesday evening, there's not really going to be a price difference there. So if they're there for 3 days throughout the week, they're there Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Yeah, that covers the same base. So if you have any questions about that, just shoot us a message and we'll look into it. All right. I think that's about it on our stuff there. So at this point, we're going to pass the ball over to Wesley. How we doing, Wesley?
We are doing fantastic.
We ready to talk about arrival times?
I believe so. Ash, can I share my screen?
That is, Hunter can have you do that, but yes.
I'm happy to share your screen once you have it shared in the pool here. Yeah.
That is. Okay. Can we see that?
There we go. Have at it, boss.
Okay. So one thing that we started doing during COVID that we kept because it actually worked out really well is assigning or pre-selecting arrival times before you arrive at camp. So it used to be back when I started at camp, everybody would get there at some time between 1 and 4, and everything was kind of chaos. And this is our attempt to try to be organized with this process. So eventually, and you won't have this link right now, but you will here in a couple weeks. You're going to receive a link to what's called Raven Link or the Passport app. And that is how you will sign up for these arrival times. So the way you will do that, obviously, if you're not a staff member, you won't have a login, but you will put, are you a unit leader, login here. You will click that. It's going to ask you to type in an email address, whatever that email address may be. I'm going to use hunter.day@ravennob.com.
Appreciate it.
And then,
now everybody knows my email.
Absolutely. All right. And so once you've done that, it's going to take you to this page right here. If you're a Cub coming to Cub resident camp, obviously you'll choose that. But outside of that, you will find your week of camp. So we're going to say that my troop is coming week 3. It will ask you to find your unit. We're going to do the provisional unit right here. And then I'm going to continue to dashboard. All right. So right here, this is where I will sign up for my arrival time. Right here where it says arrival time registration. All right. So I'll click on that. And then it's going to give me some options here. So we start at 1 o'clock. We end around 3:30. If let's say you sign up for 2:30 and, heaven forbid you're going down the road and somebody loses a tire or something or has a flat tire and you're not going to make it by 2:30, no worries. Just call us ahead of time. We'll work with you whenever you arrive and try to find ways to get you there. But roughly, this is the time we expect you to arrive that you sign up for. I will mark right here. Excuse me. It is important to select an arrival time for your entire unit. Don't choose 1 o'clock and then only have, we have 2 leaders and 3 kids here, but 25 more are coming. Here in about 30 minutes or so. No, you need to choose the time that your whole troop is going to go through check-in. Your whole troop is going to go through health checks and the tour and everything at one time. So we're going to say we like to sleep in a little late on Sundays. So we're going to go to 3:30 p.m. here for our arrival time. And then you will get a message right here that says your arrival time has been confirmed. excuse me. After that, you will see right here in your event logistics tab that arrival time. If you forget your arrival time or need to look at it again later, then you can email us and we can look it up as well. Jenny here asked a good question. What about if we would like to arrive on Saturday? We do have some troops, especially ones that are coming from with a little bit longer drives, that choose to arrive on Saturday. That is fine. There is not a charge to do that. However, just know that you are responsible for your own food until Sunday dinner. So Sunday dinner is the first meal that we serve in the dining hall. So you will be responsible for your own food. We ask that you try to arrive by Saturday about 5 o'clock. If that's not possible, just again, be in communication with us. We'll work with you. And we can do that. And again, no cost. And then just notify us ahead of time that that's what you're planning to do. And again, just saw the comment there, how you got to this page. We will send you an email closer to that date whenever arrival time sign up will be there. And that you will just click the link and it'll take you to this page.
Yeah. Wesley, what date did we pick on that?
I believe, based on the calendar invite you sent me, and I accepted and definitely remember, I believe it was May the 6th.
That is correct. 6 p.m. May 6th, Wednesday, May 6th. You'll get an email on how to get to this and take care of that. We'll make sure to hit this one more time quickly at the webinar on May 4th, so that way you're covered on what you need to do to get that done. So not a problem. And I will mention those of you that want to arrive on Saturday, again, talking about food and things like that. Just if you have problems, you have questions, you got logistics that aren't working, that doesn't work, just call us. We can figure it out. So it's probably nothing that we haven't dealt with in the past. We will figure it out one way or another. If you come in at 2 a.m. on Sunday morning, it is what it is. We'll be there to help take care of you. So just to kind of walk you through a little bit of that process on what weekend arrival does look like. Again, we really don't encourage it just because it does give our staff a little bit of a breather. These weeks are long and very difficult. We don't get a lot of rest. So it is nice to be able to go in town, grab a meal, and just kind of rest a little bit. But what we typically have is a staff member is assigned to help check in troops. When you get to camp, you'll go directly to your campsite. Hopefully you got your camp map, whatever it may be. Get to your campsite, get settled in, and a representative from camp will come by, check on you, make sure that, yep, we've got everything we need to get through the night, and everything looks good. So if you have a problem, you can express that to them, and they'll address it as quickly as they can. So if you're coming in on Saturday, you still choose an arrival time? No. Just if you're planning to come on Saturday, you need to send us an email at the registration account, registration@ravennob.com, and we will add that note to your itinerary account, and that's where we will keep track of it from then on out. So if you do, send us an estimated ETA. If you don't know right now, just say you don't know, or probably around 4 o'clock. What will typically happen on Friday or Saturday morning, you'll get a text message from a non-responding account that just says, hey, XYZ, we're looking forward to having you coming into camp. Here's a few details that you need to know. Here's the person that's going to come by and check on you. If you can't find them, you can find somebody here. So, and hopefully that'll help you a little bit be able to navigate on those Saturdays. So, for some of those alternate arrivals, you can hit the plane or train option, and you can fill out the form there. So that just helps us a little bit. Yep, alternate arrival right there. Cool.
Absolutely. Piggybacking off of that real quick before I go into my next topic, I do want to make a reminder really quickly. If you are planning on us coming to pick you up at either the airport or the Amtrak station, there is a form that we need you to fill out just to let us know that, so that way we can make our plans on our end with buses and vans and things like that. That form is if you go under Scouts BSA Summer Camp right here, Leaders Guides and Forms, and then it's this green button right here, this transportation pickup request. All right, so this is for whenever you have finalized your plans with Amtrak or the airport, then you will fill out this form. Again, it lists that the transportation is a $60 round trip fee. So we will pick you up and take you back for $60 a person. And mostly that just covers gas and rentals and things like that. And then please fill out this form no later than May 15th if you're planning on doing this. So we've already had some units go ahead and start filling out that form. The sooner you can fill it out, the better. We would really appreciate it for planning purposes. But it will ask you all these different things right here. When's your arrival time? When is your day? Things like that.
Yeah. And one thing that would help, even if you don't have these details, I think Wesley sent an email out to most of the units that it indicated, hey, we're considering coming by plane or train. Just shoot us an email back and say that's still our intention. I know that most of you are paying attention to the prices at the pump right now, and I'm paying attention to the price of filling up a charter bus to come help pick you guys up. And so the sooner the better on some of this to help us get it done. Just knowing that, yeah, we're coming by plane, we're coming by train. I hadn't filled out the form, but you can pretty much take it to the bank. So that helps us really prepare, because we have several hundred participants that have indicated they're coming, they're looking at that option, but we still have to lock those things in. So just responding to that email would help us greatly as we get to the big board and start filling this thing in and lining up our drivers, vans, charter buses, whatever we need to move folks to and from.
And I'll resend out that email in the morning as well, just so it's fresh in your inbox for those of you that have not indicated that. Okay, pivoting now to, I'm going to talk about two different topics. First is our twilight activities, and then our adult leader trainings. So first, we're going to talk about our twilight activities. Let me get it pulled up here. So these are these are our 2026 twilight activities. That will be changed shortly there. But these are the list of things to do in the afternoons after supper. If you're trying to find out what your scouts are going to be able to do, this is our kind of nightly activities. So you'll note on here our campfire nights are Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. So we don't typically offer very many twilight activities there. The exception to that being open nature on Wednesday, so that way all your families can come and look at the snakes. They really enjoy that before campfire. But on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, we have all kinds of things to do. So you can see here on Monday, we offer, chaplain's aid training, troop shoots, things like that. Now, I will note, must sign up at Sunday leaders meeting. If your troop is interested in doing a troop shoot, you will sign up for that on Sunday night during our weekly leaders meeting. Our range and target activities director, still getting used to that one. Range and target activities director, he will be there and he will walk you through the process of how to get signed up for that. Free swim is always super popular, especially during the summer weeks there when it gets really hot. So free swimming and free boating is always popular. And again, there's different things here that you can see. But if you go to ravenob.com under program and click on twilight activities, this will give you the schedule. And then you can find out more information about what those are right here. So, for example, if you want information on, for example, open handicrafts or something like that, we have some information here as well. Keep taking a look at this list. It will change some as we go along throughout the spring. So just keep a watch on it, or at the very least check before you come to camp. We may make some changes as we go. Our troop shoots age restricted, like the rifle or shotgun merit badges. We still recommend those ages. However, it's not required. It's really more just, are they physically able to handle a firearm? Are they mature enough to handle the firearm? So if your scout is a first year scout that's maybe 5 foot tall and 50 pounds, then maybe we don't sign them up for a troop shoot, a shotgun merit badge. But we kind of leave that to your discretion there. Is that what you're going to say, Hunter? Okay, cool. So good questions there. Now I'm going to pivot real quick into adult leader training activities. So here we go. Same thing under our program tab, adult leader programs. And this is basically a list of things that your adult leaders can do during the week. We have several training courses offered. Some of them are the ones that you can take online, but we like to do in person as well, such as Safe Swim Defense. And then we have some other aquatics trainings there as well. Climbing level 1 instructors always pretty popular. We do offer CPR AED for. We have a limited amount of spaces on that, so you'll want to probably sign up for those ahead of time. Excuse me. Same with our wilderness and remote first aid. We covered it under session registration, but we're limited in the amount of spots we can offer there. So those typically are pretty popular as well. Make sure you sign up for those ahead of time. If you are wanting to do training such as Safe Swim Defense or Safety Afloat or Introduction to Outdoor Leader Skills, you don't necessarily need to sign up ahead of time. You can if you want to, but those are more of your walk-in classes. We do recommend, though, if you're going to take things like climbing level 1, wilderness first aid, or CPR, American Red Cross lifeguarding, those things you do need to sign up ahead of time for. So just a heads up there. There are some activities you can do with the scouts in your unit as well, such as disc golf experience. You can do Rampage in Cripple Creek. You can do the mile swim. You can go mountain biking as well. And then we have some kind of fun things. We'll call them here. The Scoutmaster Merit Badge is always popular, especially for leaders who are new to camp and are wanting to learn more about camp. This is a very popular way to go around camp and learn things and volunteer and work on the dining hall and help build campfires and kind of really get to know camp. We also offer our Scoutmaster Social and Cook-Off. We train all year long to judge the Scoutmaster Cook-Off. It's a hard job, but we take it very seriously. But we really enjoy getting to meet leaders at our Scoutmaster Social as well and get to talk about those. And of course, we have our Scoutmaster versus staff softball game. Our Raven Knob staff is undefeated all time in softball games based on the stats that we keep. We do enjoy that on Fridays after lunch. A couple of other things you can do to volunteer as well. If you have a passion for one of the merit badges, say you're a chemistry teacher and you really want to help instruct chemistry merit badge. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Then let us know ahead of time and we can help you get lined up to help instruct those courses. Sorry. And then also our Rowdy Regiment work crew right here that you can volunteer with. I'm so sorry about sneezing on camera. That's my apologies.
Unbelievable.
But our Rowdy Regiment work crew comes with a special patch. It's really cool. I don't think I have mine in my desk. I know Hunter usually does.
How would people know if you're a part of Rowdy Regiment if you don't have your patch, Wesley?
I know. I'm sorry. I left mine at home. But it's a really cool patch that we get to hand out if you're interested in helping with some various work projects around camp. We would really appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, Wesley. One thing I will mention about some of our twilight activities and things of that nature is that things are scheduled to change, obviously, and at any point in time. And so we may have to change some of those on a weekly basis, just up to the weather, availability of folks, whatever it may be. So just kind of keep an eye out for that.
All right. Get that Rampage question there real fast.
Yeah, we signed up an adult leader for Rampage. Came back saying it basically boosted them out. Just shoot us an email. We'll be happy to take care of that. So
we always love it when adults participate in Rampage. So.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So Wesley put on our Facebook today that we do have a big announcement when coming into this upcoming webinar tonight. And this is a kind of bittersweet moment for myself and many others. But as time moves on and opportunities change, I have decided to take a step back from the professional scouting world and change employment altogether. And so over the last 18 years, I've worked at Raven Knob for many, many years, and for the last 5 as camp director, and achieving, being in this role and having the honor of serving in it. It's been a true highlight of my life. And I will be leaving this role effective on Friday, April 24th. And while this is a, sad but happy moment for many folks, I'm very excited to say that our core leadership team is staying intact. Wesley and Ash and Sam are all there. And we are bringing back a very familiar face to Camp Raven Knob with the addition of Adam Moore. Adam served most recently as our assistant camp director in 2021. He currently serves as, or did serve, I guess, until a few days ago, as the district chairman for our Wachovia district here in Winston-Salem. And he will be coming on board to fill the Old Hickory Council program director role effective on May 1st, and subsequently will serve as the camp director for Raven Knob. And so we're very excited for Adam coming on board, taking this role. You have nothing to be concerned about. I couldn't have handpicked somebody better. And he's always been a person that we can rely on and is familiar with camp and the activity. So Adam, welcome. We look forward to, I look forward to you running these webinars going forward as I sit on my couch and it pops up with my subscribe on my Google TV. But Adam, I don't know if you want to say anything really quick, but floor is yours.
Sure. Well, thank you, Hunter. I'm thrilled to be coming on board. If you've been around for a while, then you may recognize me from camp and in the scouting world and all of that. And honestly, I'm really excited to go back for a full summer and to be with this team that we have. When it comes to a core leadership team, having Wesley and Ash and Sam is really as good as you're going to find anywhere in the United States when it comes to scout camping. And so we are still full force. Everything that you have known and love and expect out of Raven Knob is still going to be there. And it's really a special place to me personally. I grew up there as well, going to camp as a camper. I served on staff for 10 summers and have been part of our program committee and a part of key leadership decisions and things like that. But Hunter has been a dear friend for a long time. I started working with Hunter on the Raven Knob staff 14 years ago, which doesn't feel like that long ago, but that's how long it was.
I was there too, Adam. I remember.
And Ash was there too. Ash and I started the same year. Hunter was my area director in Scoutcraft. And from there, we just created a bond, and all of that was surrounded by camp. And so scout camping is what we do. It's in our blood, and we love this place. We love this program, and we are so excited that all of you are going to come experience that with us. And if there is anything that I can do or anything that Hunter promised you 6 months ago that you think he may have forgotten about, then please let us know so we can make sure that we move everything forward there. Hunter and I are working very closely together on this transition along with this entire team. And so if you're sharing information with one, it's probably making its way around to all of us. But if you need anything, feel free to reach out through the registration account or my email is adam.moore@ravennob.com, and you're welcome to reach out directly. I formally take over on May 1st, but a lot of the things are already in the works, and we're getting things done, getting camp prepped for you. And we're so excited that you're with us. And we thank Hunter for his years of service, both professionally and on our seasonal staff as well. To be honest, it's hard to imagine Camp Raven Knob without Hunter Day inside of it. But we just know that he's not going to be a stranger, and we're grateful for his service. And I hope that everybody reaches out and bombards his email with thanks and love for all the work that he's done. And so thank you to Hunter and to all of you. And we're going to have a great summer camp in 2026. Back to you.
Absolutely. Hunter. Absolutely. Thank you, Adam. We're super pumped to have you on board. So just a few logistical things with that. Emails, calls, text, keep them coming. All right. Until, later on this month, April 24th is when you're probably going to stop getting a lot of text back from me in the grand scheme of things. But I know a lot of folks, we've gotten to know each other very personally on the registration level, and I've never even seen you, never even met you. So, feel free to keep reaching out if you feel like you need to, but Adam's going to become your main source. But if you're looking for any promises to come through in the next 3 weeks, send them out. I'm in a yes mood these days. So just send them on my way. But those of you that I may have made a promise to, you should probably understand that Raven Knob lives by the motto called MARF, which is maintain absolute rigid flexibility. And we figured out those promises about 5 minutes before you show up most of the time. And so if there is something that I promised to you, typically when I start to see troop lists as we get closer to summer camp, we start to figure out what those things are and making those logistics happen. So if there was something I promised or something I didn't, and you want to tell Adam that I did, feel free to get that over to him in May, so that way we can get this thing moving. But it's been an absolute honor and a privilege to be in this role and to work with fine people like you all. I didn't do this for myself. Working at camp is to do it for the Scouts, to provide the same opportunity that I received when I was rolling through the gate at the first time. And Adam's going to continue to leave that legacy forward for years to come. And we're ready to support and guide him. If you're ready for a good year, you should be even more excited now under the leadership that you have. So with that, I appreciate it. Thank you all for being here this Monday evening, and we will see you soon. Thank you.